This class is going to be a 45-minute practice. We're going to start on our back. I recommend that you find a weighted pillow, something that will put right on the low belly. It helps to calm the nervous system, and specifically it helps to balance the Vata Dosha. So if that is your predominant dosha, it can help to really center the mind-body complex. Also, if you have a different dosha predominant, but the Vata is deranged in your system today, then this is a really nice practice to just stay a little bit mellow, do a short practice, and use this with the weight. So we'll be laying down and placing this on the belly close to the thighs, and we'll be breathing into the belly and doing a few breath awareness practices. So let's just start that right now. Come down onto your back. You have the weighted pillow on the low belly. Have your knees bent so that you're alert, you're not falling asleep. We're starting the awareness practice. The hands can come up onto the weighted pillow, or they can be out at your sides. Take a few moments to just notice the sensation of the back body in the ground. And the back of the hips and the back of the middle back, lowest back ribs, the shoulder blades, upper back, backs of the arms to the backs of the hands. Feeling the base of the skull, the whole back of the head. Relaxing the whole front body down into the back body like it's nestling. Feeling the sensation of the heels and the toes in the ground and their downness. Breathe in a natural rhythm or a natural cadence. The weight on the belly gives you feedback to the expansion and contraction or settling when you inhale and when you exhale. Notice what is your natural rhythm of breathing. Now on purpose, breathe into the belly and expand into the front of the belly for 3 times. Feeling a bit more exaggerated, but still very soft as you bring the expansion in the front. And then the sides of the belly when you inhale. That kind of accordion-like wide expansion, and then they just settle back and come closer together when you exhale. One more time. Breathe in the low back down into the ground, feeling it smushing down long and wide as you inhale. And then there's just a little subtle curving that comes back up to the lumbar spine. So inhale into the back. Now inhale, evenly expanding through the belly, the front, the back, and the sides, feeling the lower back smushing down, the sides expanding, and the front coming a bit forward as well. And then the exhale, and they all go down together, deep in towards the spine, but in a soft way, More like a jellyfish expansion as you breathe in. And then just that soft jellyfish closing back up. The next time the abdomen expands with a jellyfish expansion in all directions, take it up in towards the whole chest of the back, the sides, and the front, all the way to the armpits, and exhale all the way down through the belly. Do this a few more times. After you exhale, just remove your support, your belly support to the side. Bring your knees in towards your chest, just rocking a couple times from side to side. Maybe the hands hold the knees, feeling the body warming up. Come into the center and just draw a couple circles around, holding the support of the hands on the knees. Letting it be easy. Other direction. Come back into the center, pause. Holding the right knee in towards the chest, a little bit of a soft hold, and then glide the left leg along. And let's just have it hover above the ground and then take the heel down and lean the heel down. Pause, feeling a little bit of resistance, so the hand that's holding this bent right knee is holding it in, but the knee's trying to escape, leaning the base of the skull down, feeling wide and long through the pelvis and through the back, lining this left knee towards the ceiling, so you have this slight inward rotation to keep the hips wide and balanced. Come in with the left, pause, holding the left knee in, going out with the right. Allow the leg to hover for a moment, and then take the heel down. So the base of the skull down, the shoulders, back and down. The resistance with this holding of this left knee. Right knee is facing towards the ceiling. Back in with the right knee. Tree hugging arms, and let's just take the self a little bit up and over to the side. Some nice smile massage twists. Open through the armpits, open through the palms. Infusing the movement with your breath. The legs come up over to one armpit and then over to the other armpit. And the massage happens through the whole back of the pelvis, from one ilium crest down to the tail to the other ilium crest. Head moves in the same direction as the knees. Come back into the center, pause, just rest. Notice your breath. Take the feet down to the ground, stand on the feet, fingertips up towards the ceiling. Feel a kind of suction, like the heels are suctioning together. Inhale, exhale, lift the hips up. Pause in your bridge with the fingertips towards the ceiling. Lift the heels, lengthen, and slowly lower all the way down. And come down. Let's roll over to one side and rock around to come up. Bring your blanket towards the back of the mat. I'm just going to move my mat a little bit forward. We need to have room for our hips to move when we fold forward. So there's my blanket, and I use the Sensi balls for my wrists. Standing with the feet roughly together, so you have your feet on mat and the blanket's ready for your knees. Hands to heart. Feeling the sensation of the feet on the ground, wide through the side ribs, and then relax the shoulders. Inhale, release the arms. Take the back wide into the back body, coming up. Feeling the wideness of the side ribs lifting the body, and the arms are lifting and then settling in their sockets. Inhale. Exhale, slowly, slowly, in a controlled way, come down. And then once you come into your forward fold, bend the knees and pause and just let yourself hang. Release the shoulders if you can. Drop the head if that suits. Feeling that long sense of the spine with the heavy weight of the head. Inhale, slowly come up to a halfway lift. Length through the tail. Take the hands a little bit forward. The weight comes into the hands, so you can softly bend the knees down towards the ground. Shift your weight back and just pause, sitting with your toes tucked under, facing forward if that works. Or keep your weight elevated forward if that's hard to put the weight on the feet. Relaxing the body, coming forward with the hands. Taking them forward just enough to come into modified up dog. Round the back up to the ceiling. Come on the tops of the feet. Shift the weight into the hands and come forward and up with the chest. And just feeling a soft curve. Come back into child's pose, feeling the even balance of left and right. Pause in your child's pose. Inhale, coming up. Staying on the tops of the feet, but maybe lifting the ankles so that there's this lift right here. Coming into your kneeling. Hands come down. Shift your weight forward, tuck the toes so the toes face forward. Come into forward fold. Breathing. Shift the weight back to come up. Inhale. Hands in, slowly in towards the heart. Okay, we'll do this with a breath for each one. See if this suits. Slow inhale. Slow exhale, fold. Slow inhale to halfway lift. Slow exhale, coming down into a kneel. Slow inhale to modified up dog. Slow exhale to child. Slow inhale to kneel. Slow exhale to forward fold. Slow inhale to come up. Slow exhale to hands to heart. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, kneel. Inhale, modified up dog. Exhale, child. Inhale, kneel. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, hands to heart. And one more time, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, stay here and just breathe. And let's release those balls to the side. Move your blanket to the side. Okay, good. And we'll come into downward facing dog. Taking the hands onto the fingertips, tucking the toes. And just let the hips come back, let the arms be soft. Slowly smush the hands down. The arms are in alignment, but they're soft. Feel them very spacious through the sockets and the shoulder girdle. And then feel the pushing of the hands and the feet simultaneously to exhale to lift up into down dog. Just pause and breathe. Walk the feet towards the hands, forward fold. Inhale, come up. Hands to heart. Bend the knees and stand more onto the right leg. Sink your weight back. Lift the left leg and then just place it up on the thigh or maybe the calf. Go by the wall if you'd like. Wide to the side ribs and then relax the shoulders. Hands can stay at the belly or maybe the arms come up. Keep them parallel with each other so that the shoulders can remain very soft. Hands together, turn the knee forward, come down. Shift the weight into the left foot, come down, weight heavy down, lean back with the low back, and then just let this right leg come into where it can come in, and pause, finding this nice balance in the belly, the low back, feeling down through the standing leg. Maybe lift these arms. Hands in to the heart, knee face forward, come down. Bend yourself forward so you can come into triangle. Left leg goes back, coming up, and then taking the back of the right hand and leaning it into the inside line of that leg as you glide down. The thumb faces up as you come down, pushing away the mat with both big toe mounds. And then as you turn this palm to face down, it stacks the shoulders. Bring the left arm up. Inhale, come up, release the arms, face forward, lower your gravity to take the left foot forward, come up. Bend forward, taking the right leg back. Smudge yourself into alignment with the big toe lines, big toe mounds. This front knee is in line with the front toe and the second toe. Back of this left hand comes into the inside line of the leg, and just let yourself tip. Both knees are slightly bent. Roll the hand face down and then just lift this right arm. Inhale, coming up, and release. Turn to face the front, lower your center of gravity, bring the right foot forward, pause and stand with your hands at the heart. Take yourself down, take this left foot back, have the feet at a rectangle, the heels are in alignment, the right hand is under the chin, and the left hand's at the lower back. And let's just see if we smear and smudge yourself to face forward. Back heel goes down. Pause. Inhale, lift the rib cage, let the arms relax, and then just bring them up, bring them up, bring them up. So the ribs are lifting, but the arms are quite loose and easy. Hands into the heart. Shift forward for warrior three. Foot comes down, stand up. Right leg back. Rectangle of the feet. Left hand under the chin, right hand at the low back. Swivel, stay low. And then straighten out that back leg a little bit. But both knees have a little bent. The front knee, of course, is much more bent. Adjust being here. Feel a sense of the pubic bone coming up to the sternum. Wide through the side ribs. Relax the arms, lifting them up, up, up. Hands into heart, shift forward for warrior three. And then just come into standing. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, fold forward and come down into a standing forward fold. Pause, knees can be bent. Relax the shoulders so they kind of blob down the back towards the head. And then step the feet back and come into downward facing dog. Bend the knees, come into child's pose. Relax the heads of the shoulders. Inhale, coming up. Let's bring this blanket back. We'll sit on this. Do a nice twist. Let's bend the knees so that we're sitting more on the right hip. Also, when you're sitting like this, maybe you need a block because maybe you're so far over you can't sit up. But we're going to be tilting a bit over, but we want your knees to feel good. So just come up onto some more height so that there's no pain, that this is something that builds trust in the body. All right, take the right hand over to the right, parallel with the hip. Bring the left hand around and just face towards the ground. Letting the body relax on the kickstands of your hands. And then just see if there's a little bit more that you come down into the ground. So the left hip does lift off. Just pause here in this twist. Inhaling, coming up and swiveling around. Letting the other side, so you're on your left hip now. The knees are bent. Taking your left hand out by your hip, sort of in that line. Coming onto that as a kickstand, and then bringing the right hand around and facing towards the ground. So you just keep adjusting, letting yourself adjust to this shaping. We're not forcing any position. We're not stretching. We're just calming the nervous system and giving the spine a diverse shaping. All right, just sometimes your body just feels like it needs to melt down a little bit more. So just allow it to go where it can. Thinking there's nowhere to go but inside, noticing your breath as this is my breath in and this is my breath out. Inhale, coming up, slowly walking your hands. And you might notice that we started the class with the weight on the belly, considering that we were helping to balance a Vata condition or a Vata Dosha. It's like the seat of that, or the region of it, is in the intestines. And so that kind of low twist is something really nice to help squeeze out and balance into the low belly. Okay, let's come down onto the ground. So I'm just removing the blanket and coming down. Take a couple moments to feel yourself in the down mist. We're going to do another bridge. We started in some of our warm-ups. We did a bridge before we stood up. Let's do another bridge. Standing on your toes and your heels, bringing the fingertips to the ceiling. Feel a sort of suction of the heels coming together, and that's going to lift the hips up just in a nice slant board. You feel your sitting bones going towards the backs of the knees. Be a little bit heavy with the shoulder blades, but wide through the side ribs. Take the arms down overhead towards the ground with the palms face up. Feel, as much as this works for you, that you're leaning your hands down, your arms down, and then lift your heels, keeping your arms where they are, and slowly unfurl one vertebrae at a time, coming down, keeping this traction, so the length of the spine. And then gradually you come down, maybe still pause with your ribs strongly snugged into the low belly, and the arms are still back. Now lengthen one fingertip away along the ground, and then lengthen the other one. And again to the other side, and then again to the other side, and then come back into the center. Pause with the low back smushed to the ground. Release the hands and pause. Bring the right knee in towards the chest. Find that resistance like we did earlier. Straighten out the left leg. Leave it hovering. So the heel might remain above the ground for a little extra strength through the widening and through the lengthening of the back. The low back is down, the base of the skull is down, shoulder blades are down, ribs are snugged into the belly, and you feel a little bit of a pull of the pubic bone coming up towards the sternum. All right, bring the left knee in, and then hold the left knee, glide it with the right, and keep that one hovering. So build the same load with this left knee, a little resistance. It tries to escape a bit, but it's not like your biggest argument. It's just trying to escape and you're holding it in. And this just helps to load all the muscles through the legs and through the groin. Feel the pubic bone pulling up towards the sternum slightly. The straight legs, knee faces the ceiling. And then come in. Good. Take both feet about as wide as the edge of the mat. And feel a down, long spine. Keep these ribs snugged in. I like to have my hands on them to remind me for that. And then just turn the knees over to one side, turn the head in the other direction, keeping that length in the low back. Coming up and the other side. I'm just going from side to side, mindfully keeping a standing quality in the feet. Mindfully keeping these ribs snugged in through the transition to sandwich in towards the spine for support. Keeping the shoulder heads down into the ground. And breathe like you're infusing this movement with your breath. Let's finish up with the legs going over to the opposite side. So for me, that's the left side. And come back into the center and pause. Bring the hands behind the base of the skull and walk your spine a little bit longer on the mat. Feel the widening of the side ribs, the standing quality in the feet. Elbows are parallel with each other, so they're not wide, they're a bit up. Armpits forward and up, and then just tuck the chin in towards the chest as you roll to come up, and keep a bit of resistance as you roll to come down, just up and down, massaging through the upper vertebrae, the thoracic spine, and up and towards the neck. And just notice the left side and the right side. Do you have a sense of balance? Okay, one more coming up, and then let's come back down, pause. Bring the knees in towards the chest and hold the knees in, holding them in and let the knees try to escape. Tuck the chin in towards the chest, shoulder blades down, and then just relax. Move the knees a little bit away and do the same. Holding the knees, widening and lengthening through the back body. Chin tucked in, shoulder blades a bit back. Release. And then straighten the arms to their fullest extent and find the same resistance. Lengthening and widening through the body. And release. Put the hands on the fronts of the thighs. Push the legs away, but they stay where they are. They're trying to come in towards the chest. See what you gather in the pelvic floor and release. Take one foot down and the other foot down and pause. And just notice the sensation in the mind. Bring this left arm up And use the other arm to kind of drag it across the chest. I'll just show you sitting up, but you can stay down on your back. And just bring this across, and you're just letting this come across just how it can come across to the shoulder comes out of the socket. There's a bit of lengthening that can happen. And sometimes I suggest that we keep the shoulder down and parallel with the other shoulder, but you can play with this. Feel the lengthening through this arm, through the shoulder blade in any way that suits. Taking the arm down or taking the arm up. And then the other side. And using this other arm to move. Keeping this right arm, this sort of straightened arm, keeping it straight as you move it through these different sensations. Okay, let's release that, and we're going to come down for the Savasana, the final relaxation, and feel free to make a pillow, taking a blanket for a pillow or having an actual pillow for your head. Does it suit you best to have something that comes underneath your legs, like a bolster or a rolled up blanket, or your big weighted pillow that can come under the knees if that suits you, or back on the belly? Come down and let's relax. Consciously relaxing the body, letting the legs roll out to the sides. The hands can be on the abdomen, or maybe the hands are to their sides, out to the sides with the palms face up. If this is your position, take one shoulder blade and roll it under. And that kind of lifts the chest a little. Take the other shoulder blade and roll it under. And then come back down and relax with the shoulder blades coming in and down the back. Even if it lifts your ribs a little, just let that happen and just pause. Imagining what would it feel like if the limbs were heavy like sandbag legs and sandbag arms. What would it feel like if the torso felt like a heavy sandbag torso coming down, relaxing and melding and widening into the ground? Relaxing the head like a heavy warm blob of clay coming down, melding down to the ground. Feeling the whole body coming down heavy to the ground, relaxing the toes, the feet, the ankles, and up through the shins to the knees. With the upper leg and into the hip socket. The whole concept of the pelvis, the back body, to the neck, down to the backs of the arms. The low belly through the chest to the fronts of the arms, through the neck, throat, through the face, the whole body. bending the knees. Roll over to the side and come up. Finishing the practice with sitting, so it transitions us for the day, integrating what we felt through practice and through the Savasana, hands to heart. And thank the part of you that brought you here for your daily practice. Namaste.